2017, the New York Times published 3 short videos that the Pentagon never wanted you to see. Grainy infrared footage, confused pilot voices, objects moving in ways that physics says shouldn't be possible. For decades, the United States government denied studying unidentified flying objects. Then, quietly, they admitted they had been all along through a secret program called ATIP, funded with $22 million taxpayer dollars. In 2022, Congress held the first open UFO hearings in over 50 years. The official term changed from UFO to UAP, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, and the witnesses weren't conspiracy theorists. They were Navy commanders, F-18 pilots, radar operators, and intelligence officers with top-secret clearances. In this documentary, we'll examine 7 of the most credible encounters declassified by the Pentagon itself. No grainy hoaxes, no alien autopsies, just verified military reports, corroborated radar data, and trained observers describing things our best technology cannot explain. These are the cases that forced the world's most powerful military to finally admit, we don't know what's flying in our skies. November 14th, 2004. Off the coast of San Diego, the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group is conducting training exercises. For days, the cruiser USS Princeton has been tracking strange objects on advanced radar, dropping from 80,000 feet to 20,000 in less than a second. Commander David Fravor, an experienced F-18 pilot, is sent to investigate. What he finds becomes the most famous UAP encounter in modern history. Hovering above a churning patch of ocean is a smooth, white object shaped like a 40-foot Tic Tac. No wings, no exhaust, no visible means of propulsion. When Fravor moves to intercept, the object mirrors his movements, then accelerates away faster than anything he has ever seen. Within seconds, it reappears 60 miles away at the prearranged rendezvous point, as if it had read their flight plans. The encounter is captured on FLIR infrared video, later declassified and confirmed authentic by the Department of Defense. 4 trained pilots witnessed it. Multiple radar systems tracked it. To this day, no nation has claimed the technology. "11 years later, off the coast of Florida, 2 Navy F-18 Super Hornets encountered an entire fleet of unknown objects. The declassified video, nicknamed Gimbal, captures one of them in stunning detail. On the infrared screen, a dark lozenge-shaped craft hovers against fierce 120-mile-per-hour winds, completely stationary. Then it rotates on its axis, defying aerodynamics. You can hear the pilots shouting in disbelief. There's a whole fleet of them, one says. Look at that thing, dude. The objects appeared daily off the eastern seaboard for months, sometimes for hours at a time. They were tracked simultaneously by radar, infrared cameras, and pilot eyes, a phenomenon investigators call multi-sensor correlation, the gold standard for unidentified phenomena. Lieutenant Ryan Graves, one of the pilots involved, later testified to Congress that these encounters were nearly causing mid-air collisions. Pilots were reporting them up the chain of command, but no one had any answers. The Pentagon eventually admitted the Gimbal video was real, and that the objects remained officially unidentified. The third officially declassified Pentagon video is called GoFast. Filmed in January 2015 off the Atlantic coast, it captures what appears to be a small white object skimming just above the ocean surface at incredible speed. The pilots whoop in excitement as their targeting system finally locks on. But here's where it gets strange. When analysts later calculated the object's true speed using parallax math, they discovered it wasn't moving as fast as it appeared. The illusion of velocity came from the jet's own speed and altitude. What the object actually did was hover, almost motionless, against 30-knot winds just above the waves. No wings, no heat signature from any engine, no splash, no wake. Whatever it wasn't a balloon, a bird, or any drone known to exist in 2015. The Department of Defense released the footage in April 2020, officially confirming it as authentic and unexplained. For investigators, GoFast was less impressive than Gimbal or Tic Tac, but in some ways more troubling. These things weren't rare, they were routine. Long before infrared cameras, something far more alarming happened at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, March 16, 1967. Captain Robert Salas is on duty deep underground in a missile launch facility, responsible for 10 armed Minuteman nuclear missiles. A security guard calls. There's a glowing red object hovering silently above the front gate. Moments later, every single missile in Salas's flight goes offline. One by one, the status lights flash no-go. The most powerful weapons on Earth, disabled, while an unidentified craft hovered overhead. The same thing happened at a second facility, Echo Flight, days earlier. Boeing engineers were brought in. They could not determine how the missiles had been deactivated. The incident was classified for decades. In 2010, Salas and 6 other Air Force officers held a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, demanding the truth be acknowledged. The Air Force has never officially explained Malmstrom, but the documented fact remains. On that night in 1967, something turned off America's nuclear arsenal, and we still don't know what. December 26, 1980, Rendlesham Forest, England. 2 U.S. Air Force bases, Bentwaters and Woodbridge, sit at the edge of these woods, storing some of NATO's most sensitive equipment. Just after midnight, security patrols see strange lights descending into the trees. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt leads a team into the forest to investigate. What he records on a handheld cassette, now public, is extraordinary. Halt's voice describes a glowing, metallic object moving through the trees, beaming light onto the ground, then darting away at impossible speed. Indentations are found in the soil. Radiation readings at the site are elevated. Multiple servicemen signed sworn affidavits. The British Ministry of Defense officially logged the incident, but for years claimed there was no defense significance. Declassified files later proved otherwise. Halt himself, a senior officer with 30 years of service, has stood by his account for over 4 decades. Britain's Roswell, the press called it. To this day, no terrestrial explanation has satisfied the men who were actually there in the freezing English forest. Multiple radar contacts and visual sightings from the air and ground. Declassified through the Freedom of Information Act, the Tehran incident remains one of the most thoroughly documented military UAP encounters in history. July 26, 2023, Capitol Hill. Under oath before the House Oversight Committee, former Air Force intelligence officer David Grusch makes claims that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Grusch, who served on the Pentagon's UAP task force, testifies that the United States government has been running a multi-decade program to recover and reverse-engineer craft of, quote, non-human origin. He says he interviewed 40 witnesses over 4 years. He provided their names to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, who deemed his complaint credible and urgent. 2 Navy pilots testified alongside him, describing personal encounters with objects that defied known physics. The Pentagon publicly denied Grusch's specific claims about recovered craft. But here is what cannot be denied. A decorated intelligence officer with top-secret clearance testified under penalty of perjury before Congress on live television that America has been hiding the truth. Congress responded by passing UAP transparency provisions into the 2024 Defense Bill. Whether or not Grusch is right about everything, the hearing marked the moment the conversation officially, permanently changed. 7 encounters, 70 years, hundreds of trained military witnesses, the Pentagon's own declassified videos, and still, no official answer to the simplest question: what are these things? They may be advanced foreign technology, Russian or Chinese platforms we underestimated. They may be misidentified natural phenomena, optical illusions amplified by infrared cameras, or they may be something we genuinely do not yet understand. In 2024, NASA established a permanent UAP research office. The Pentagon's ARO program now collects reports openly. For the first time in history, studying these phenomena is no longer career suicide for serious scientists. The truth is, we are living through the most transparent moment in the history of this mystery, and the questions are only getting bigger. What you do with that information is up to you. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to see it, And subscribe to TheSuperfy for more weekly investigations into the stories the world tried to forget. We'll see you next week.